So welcome on back to the Hollydell Ice Arena in Washington Township, New Jersey. This morning on Midnight Sports, the New York City Raiders take on the Palmyra Black Knights. The Knights come into today having beaten the Orland Park Vikings yesterday by a score of 8-3 and having lost to tomorrow's Ice Selects by a score of 10-2. Raiders fans will remember, too, that this Knights team beat the Raiders back in October by a score of 7-2 in a physical, heavy-hitting game that was chippy from the very start. Today, and we'll look to see you on the flip side of that Thanksgiving break in December for more youth hockey. Thanks, as always, for tuning in. Well, before that Thanksgiving break, it's Period 1's Puck Drop coming up right now on Midnight Sports. Teams will go to their benches for some last-minute strategy as the scorekeeper throws 16 minutes on the board, the standard AHF period time. Down here in South Jersey, the Hollydell Ice Arena. Looks like it'll be speaker and cage for the Raiders in this early Sunday morning game. And now the Knights come over the boards and get ready for this puck drop. Raiders still getting some last-minute instruction. Now they come out as well. Looks like it'll be Petrosinelli, Meyerowicz, Marchuka as the forward line. Tanoff and Kushlewski out there as the defensive pair. Referee checks both goalies. Checks the scorekeeper. And here we go. Puck's dropped. Start period 1. Knights win that face-off back into their defensive zone. Then they work it up into the neutral zone. Cut out there by Jake Meyerowicz, who tries to pour it farther, but instead the Knights come the other way. They're in the offensive zone already, are the Knights. Tanoff turns and is able to shepherd that puck to the far corner before it gets on net. Jake Meyerowicz loses a glove to make a play over to Marchuka, who passes the puck to Petrosinelli. Petrosinelli now on the puck. Petrosinelli with the puck, tries to work it in farther. Comes with a one-timer to Meyerowicz. Meyerowicz goes just wide of the cage. Flicked forward right there by Petrosinelli, but out of the zone, and Kushlewski will turn. He's got Tanoff with him, heading back to the defensive zone. He's able to get that out of the defensive zone, and now Palmyra is going to be offside at 15:19 left to go here in the first period. They dumped it in just a bit too early, and we'll get a stoppage in play just outside the Raiders' defensive zone. Now that stoppage in play is going to give the Raiders a chance to change skaters out there. It'll be Samosi, Berliner, and Bizarro as the forward line, and Gossler and Steinfink as the defensive pair. Knights pound that puck right back into the defensive zone of the Raiders. Gossler turns and picks up the puck. He's able to feather that over to Berliner behind his net. Berliner on the forehand looks for Bizarro, weak side. Pass eludes him, and the Knights will come right back the other way. They get so far as Gossler at the blue line, who chips it farther. Puck comes to the blue line, it rolls in, but there was a Knights player down behind the play, and we'll get another offside with 14:55 left to go here in the first period. Does give us time to pause for station identification. Well, not enough time actually to pause for station identification. You know you're watching this on Midnight Sports. The Raiders push that puck up and out of the zone, and now they gain the offensive zone on the stick of Rafi Samosi. Tanoff now with the puck at the near point. Keeps the zone, finds Berliner. Puck rolls off his stick and comes into the slot. But looks like Kushlewski was able to keep the zone momentarily, and now it's worked forward by Bizarro right back into the offensive zone. He's on the backhand, has to dump that in and retreat. It's Berliner on the forecheck. Berliner with the puck. Comes up to the near half wall, not out yet. Tanoff sends a wild wrist shot in, hits a body in front, goes wide of the cage, and the Knights pick it up and try and work it out of the zone. Only so far is Nate Kushlewski, who dumps that right back in. Kushlewski now for Bizarro. Bizarro at the near half wall. Bizarro lifts the stick of his man and turns, curls with it on the forehand, and the puck does roll off, and Tanoff over to cover. The Knights on a mini break here. Tanoff back, though, to shepherd his man outside and take him out of the play. Nice hit there. Sees Christopher Tanoff move the puck over to Rafi Samosi. Comes off his stick. Bizarro there to work it farther up to the blue line. Not out yet. Samosi trying to get it over to Tanoff. Tanoff works it out of the zone. Knights will have to clear. Knights go all the way back to their own blue line, go point to point, and now they're in the neutral zone again, are the Knights. They dump that in after gaining center ice, and the Raiders will turn. Tanoff back in the near corner, try and get this puck to a Raiders stick. Instead, the Knights go weak side, rink wide. Puck evades everyone, comes right back into the neutral zone. Lorenzo Vigliotti out there with speed now. Takes his man out of the play. But we get an arm raise. This is going to be a delayed call on the Raiders. They'll touch up to the stick of Silas Gosler. It looks like Raiders are going to be down a man after the referee is calling a rough. Must have been just a little too late on the hit. And so at 13:26 in the first period, the Raiders, unhappy with that penalty call, will go to the box. And folks, if you're unhappy with any penalty call, make sure to give Noah a call. Noah's your man to protest any bad penalty call. Thanks, Noah. Knights win the ensuing faceoff. It's in the offensive zone. They're up a man. They're looking for a slot pass. The Raiders are able to escape that past their own blue line and out on the stick of Steinfink. Finkelstein takes over now in the offensive zone. Finkelstein dumps that in on the backhand to kill some more of this penalty. Oh, and chases his own pass to the end boards. The Knights just barely beat him to it, and they're going to be able to get out of the zone. Only so far Silas Gosler at the red line. Now the Knights come into the offensive zone. Steinfink turns to push his man outside. His man tries to round the cage. Steinfink takes him out of the play with a wonderful hit there behind his own net. Works it up to the near point. A lot of ice at the near point. Slapper comes in, hits a body in front, and Jackson Kalemba. Now the Raiders scramble to get the puck out of the zone. It's in the near corner, still there. Gosler lifts his man to try and take him out of the play, that is, and he does. Puck comes up to the near point, and then it's dumped right back in. Silas Gosler turns, it's on the forehand, tries to reverse. The Knights take over. They try a wraparound, quick stick there by Steinfink, cuts out the threat. Now it's at the far point. Far circle, shot comes in, deflection once, twice, and they don't make it on the third shot. It goes just wide of the cage. Knights still have it in the offensive zone. They're at the far circle again. Shot goes wide of the cage. 23 seconds left to go in the kill here for the Raiders. Puck stays in the Raiders zone though, and now the Knights will walk in. They send a shot wide of the cage there. The Knights just buzzing around the Raiders cage right now. Raiders desperate to get this puck out. Deflection doesn't work. Speaker kicks that aside. The Knights still have the puck in the near corner. They feather it up to the near point. Rolling puck will clear the zone there. 5 seconds left to go until we're back to 5-on-5 skating. Very eventful first few minutes of this period here for the Raiders. Oh, Kalemba takes a high hit there with the puck. And the Knights come right back the other way. They gain the offensive zone. Quick stick, though, by Nate Koslewski. Keeps the Knights from pouring in. Knights will just have to dump there. They hit their own man at center ice. Marchuka all over the puck in the neutral zone. Forces a bad pass, and now Meyerowicz pours forward. Boy, Meyerowicz shot out of a cannon there. Gains the offensive zone. He's on the left wing. Tries to work the puck in deeper. The Knights eventually slap the puck off his stick, and they look to break out of the zone. They do, but only so far as Christopher Tanoff. Tanoff now turns at the blue line. He dumps right back in. Shot goes just wide of the cage. The Knights will have to pick up in the near corner. Knights in the near corner now with the puck. They dangle around Meyerowicz and try to work this puck up and out using the boards. They hit the dasher, but the rolling puck does escape the zone, and it's quick developing 2-on-1 there until it's cut out by Tanoff. He gets in front of his man and then reverses the puck over toward Nate Koslewski, who's on the forehand. Marchuka tries to work it farther. Comes back to Koslewski, who again tries to work that puck up and over the blue line. He does. Finds Jake Meyerowicz, who works the puck farther in the neutral zone until the Knights take over. Knights in their own end. They go point to point. Harassed there by Luke Marchuka. Marchuka now behind the Knights net. Can't quite get possession of the puck. The Knights will use the glass to hit that up to the far point, but not out. Petrosinelli tries to turn in the high slot with the puck. Cuts out. Any clearance attempt there, and the slap shot of Meyerowicz finds Petrosinelli, just a little too hot to handle. The bouncing puck comes to the Knights. They're going to work this out of the zone. Knights now through the neutral zone, trying to get past Koslewski, unable to do so. Koslewski, in his own zone, goes point to point. He finds Meyerowicz over there. Meyerowicz guides that past his blue line and looks up to try and work something in the neutral zone and get the puck farther as the Raiders are making a change behind the play. Knights now pour into the offensive zone, but without possession. Tanoff there, uses the glass, bank that up to Marchuka. Not out just yet. Knights push that puck farther in the zone. Back to Marchuka now at the near half wall. He does work that past the blue line, and the Knights will have to delay as they clear the zone. Now they're in the high slot, are the Knights. They're back in the offensive zone, trying to get something on cage. Instead, Tanoff again is able to take the puck off his man, and Marchuka now with the puck after the pass from Samosi. Marchuka in the offensive zone, tries to go around a man. The Knights just flick that up in the air to get it out of the zone. Then they bring it back into their zone. A heavy hit on Marchuka there. No arm raised as the Knights come into the neutral zone, and Pizarro takes over. Sends that weak side over to Gosler. Nice pass. A lot of ice over there as Gosler pours forward into the offensive zone. Long shot in on cage. That's just blockered aside there by the Knights goaltender, and the Knights pick it up in the far corner. Berliner now on the ice. Harasses his man. Puck comes to Gosler, and then Berliner flicks it farther on the backhand into the offensive zone. Knights will have to pick up behind their own net. They turn, send it near side, only so far as Samosi. Samosi sends a shot in to be deflected there. Berliner in front does deflect it up, but a better save there by the Knights goaltender keeps this a scoreless game in the first period. It'll be an offensive zone draw coming up for the Raiders. Berliner, Samosi, Bizarro out there as the forward line. Looks like it's Tanoff and Koslevsky as a defensive pair. Nate Koslevsky able to keep the zone. Bizarro tries to lift the stick of his man, but now the Knights are off. They're on a mini break here. Tanoff needs to get back quickly. Knights still in. He lifts the stick of his man at the last second. No shot coming. Now the puck goes rink wide. Knights try and pick it up there. They shepherd it to the far wall. Wonderful play by Tanoff. Cuts out the breakaway threat. What a back check that was. Berliner now with the puck. Tries to jam it up to Bizarro. Knights get there first. Bizarro's going to have another hack at this, but the Knights pick it up in the high slot. Now it's Koslevsky. Takes the puck off his man. Gains the neutral zone. Dumps it all the way in the offensive zone. And the Raiders look to see if they need to change. They don't. Knights pick up the puck. Still in the offensive end here for the Raiders. Knights take one hack and then two to get that puck past the blue line. Unable to do so the first two times. Oh, and a nice back check there by Bizarro. Keeps the puck in the zone, at least momentarily. Now the Knights are able to move it past the blue line. They hit a stanchion in the glass, though, and the Raiders will take over in their own end with possession. Samosi finds Bizarro. He's taken out of play there at center ice, and the Knights take over again in their own end. Knights curl around their own net. Looking for a long diagonal pass for the Knights. Instead, the puck's left for the other Knights defenseman, who reverses, cycles around his own net the other way. Now they find pay dirt in the neutral zone, only so far as Tanoff again, who cuts out the threat. Tanoff tries to move that puck farther. Knights come away with it at the blue line. They dangle around one man. Now they're in the mid-slot, are the Knights. They're on the backhand. They try and go high on Speaker. That puck hits the side of the cage, and then it's reversed all the way around to the near point. Knights take over there. They've got some room. They go point to point, trying to find someone in front. Here comes a slapper. Nope, it's a fake, and it goes point to point again for the Knights. Just trying to get something on net. Now it's in the low slot on a Knights stick. Puck comes up, doesn't go anywhere other than the far side of the ice. Finkelstein tries to take over and move that puck out of the zone. Raiders scrambling now to get this puck across the blue line. They're able to flick it up and past the blue line and relieve some of that defensive pressure. Finkelstein now in on the forecheck as the Knights go point to point. Knights work it up weak side. They're across the red line, but not the blue just yet. Marchuka tries to take that puck off his man and break in the offensive zone. He's got Bigliotti with him, and he's able to beat the Knights man to the puck. Knights will pick it up behind their own net now, come weak side and try and get it out of their zone. Knights will reverse there. Ooh, taken over there by Marchuka. He tries a wraparound. He's shut down on the far post by the goaltender of the Knights. The Knights break out the other way. It's a 2-on-2, but they lose the puck. Gossler tries to chip that puck farther. Gets stuck in his feet. He does eventually find it, though, and chip the puck up. We're going to get a call here, it looks like, on the Raiders as a delayed penalty, arm raised by the referee. Knights work that puck up. Raiders haven't touched up just yet. It's in the near corner. They're trying to work it to the near half wall. We should get a whistle. We finally do. And at 6:31 left to go here in the first period, looks like Gossler will go to the box for a cross-check. Now the Raiders will have to kill a penalty here. A minute and a half is going to be put on the board. Some heavy work in the defensive zone by Gossler. And it looked like they hooked him up there for a cross-checking penalty in the corner. Well, the Raiders coaches asking for an explanation on the call there after some heavy hitting by the Knights, and the Raiders returned the favor, but they were the only ones who got whistled. So here we go. It's going to be a puck drop here momentarily. Looks like we had the scorekeeper door open as they asked just how long the penalty would be. In any event, puck's dropped. Knights win that face-off forward. Tanoff turns to try and take the puck off his man. Petrosinelli helping him in the near corner. Knights man tries to create some room by reversing to himself. He's at the near half wall looking cross ice to the far point. That puck came just out of the zone, though, and we'll get a quick whistle at 6:18 left to go in the first as the Knights were offside. Does give us time this time to pause for station identification. Midnight Sports. It's Midnight Sports. It's youth hockey. It's bad jokes. Midnight Sports. All right, this puck drops just outside the defensive blue line of the Raiders. Palmyra wins that forward, and then Raiders just knock that right out. Knights take over again in the neutral zone. They go point to point there. Meyerowicz, the forechecker. Knights break right back into the offensive zone. They're on the forehand. Shot gets blocked, comes to the side of the cage. The Raiders pound that around on the boards, trying to get out of the zone. Knights able to keep. Just under 6 minutes left to go here. Bad angle shot, doesn't connect. It's blocked in front by Tanoff. We'll try again with the Knights for that shot. Meyerowicz picks it up in the slot, though, and pounds that puck out of the zone, killing more of this penalty. 45 seconds left to go on the cross-checking penalty. We will get a whistle now into stoppage and play with 43 seconds left to go on the kill for icing, as that puck nearly went on net against the Knights. But the Knights goaltender, wise to the play of the Raiders, let that puck cross the end line. And so it's an icing. 5:44 left to go here in the first period. Now it's Berliner at the dot. Knights win that up to the near point and try and work that in deeper. Steinfink sends it right back up to the point. Nearly out. Finkelstein all over his man. Berliner fires into the slot. The Knights are there. They go high over the cage, miss everything. Puck comes into the blue paint, and then it's cleared nicely there by Finkelstein cleared that. Steinfink in for support. Another shot comes in. It's deflected wide by a Knights player right in front of the goal mouth. Marchuka now in the backhand is able to flick that across the blue line. 17 seconds left to go on the kill for the Raiders here as Berliner leans on his man right at center ice. The Knights able to take that out of the skates of everyone. Gain the offensive zone again. Still the Knights. They send a shot wide of the cage, and it'll be Finkelstein to try and pick up at the near half wall. Knights beat him to it. Steinfink fires in the near corner. Knights looking for that slot pass. Instead, come up to the near point. Heavy shot comes in, goes wide of everyone, and just under 5 minutes left to go. We're back to 5-on-5 skating. Slap shot comes in. It's deflected once, then twice. It sits there. Speaker kicks it out the first time, but the rebound comes right to a Knights player, and that's a Palmyra Black Knights goal with 4:50 left to go here in the first period. It's Knights 1, Raiders 0. Well, let's see how the Raiders rebound from that. They played very well here in the first period. Unfortunate bounce on that rebound came right to a Knights stick, and the Knights were able to pot it immediately. Ensuing face-off, Samosi, Marchuka, Bizarro. Steinfink has the puck right here at the near glass. Works it up to Marchuka. Marchuka on the forehand, sends that puck over the cage, and the Knights will pick up there at their own blue line. They look for that long diagonal pass. Icing's waved here as we get a deflection claim by the referee. Puck comes right out to Speaker, still sitting there momentarily. He's able to save once, twice, and then jump over the puck, and we get a whistle there at 4:26 left to go in the first period. Speaker at full stretch, able to freeze that puck down on his second attempt. Well, it'll be a defensive zone draw coming up here for the Raiders. It'll be Samosi, Bizarro. Looks like Marchuka at center. Koshlevsky and Tanoff as the defensive pair. Yeah, near dot face-off to Speaker's right. Marchuka leans in after he fixes his glove. Wins that up to the high slot. Comes to a Knights player, and then it comes down low. Speaker's able to kick that aside as it goes wide of the cage anyway. Samosi lifts the stick of his man. Tries to chip it past him on the blue line. He does. Bizarro gives chase now on the forecheck. That puck won't reach the end line, so we play on. Bizarro still on the forecheck. Puck comes up just past Marchuka. Koshlevsky has it in the neutral zone. He tries to reverse it in the other direction. Hits a man off a skate, but we will get an offside call now as the Knights broke into the zone just a little too quickly. And so with 4:04 left to go here in the first period, it'll be a draw of just, well, no, not an offside call. Interesting, a late hit call there as a Knight goes to the box. So we'll get an offensive zone draw here for the Raiders. Down a goal, but it'll be up a man with 4:04 left to go in the first. Well, Samosi, Marchuka, Bizarro as the forwards, Gossler and Steinfink as the defensive pair. Raiders would love to score a power play goal here and get back on even terms. Marchuka wins that over to Gossler at the near point. Gossler with the wrist shot. Hits a shin guard in front. Now the Knights look to flick that out of the zone. They do. They're past the blue line. The Raiders will clear the zone. They need to get possession back so they can set up the power play. Instead, the Knights come the other way. They're at the offensive blue line are the Knights, and they dump that puck in. Steinfink turns to pick up behind his own net. The Raiders will try and set up their power play again. Marchuka with speed now. Tries to break out of the zone. He finds Samosi at his own blue line. Samosi looks up for a diagonal pass. He hits Pizarro. A little too hot to handle, though. Puck hops over his stick, so Marchuka guides it in the offensive zone. Comes to Samosi. Samosi dangles around one man. He's pushed off the puck at the last second there, but he'll keep the zone. He works that over to Marchuka. Marchuka tries to pick up the puck with a man all over him. Works it right back over to Samosi, who returns the favor for Pizarro. Pizarro turns, fires, and that shot is saved. Nice save there by the Black Knights goaltender. And this is still a one-goal game. 44 seconds left to go in the power play for the Raiders. 3 minutes and 18 seconds left to go in the first period. It'll be Pizarro at the near dot. Offensive zone draw. Marchuka behind him. Finkelstein and Samosi out there. Works it over to Samosi, works it to Marchuka, sends over Tanoff. Tanoff with the wrist shot, and bouncing puck comes up, sits in the crease momentarily on some equipment, but the Knights are able to clear. Another shot comes in, goes wide of the cage. Tanoff looking for that deflection in front. Samosi now picks up the puck. He's at the near dot. Now he's below the goal. He works it into the blue paint. Puck comes over to Pizarro. Pizarro can't pull the trigger there as the stick gets in his way. He's desperate to try and keep the zone. Instead, it's a mini break the other way for the Knights. They've got speed. The Knights in, and it's a shorthanded goal. The Knights score on the breakaway. With 16 seconds left to go here on the power play for the Raiders, the Knights pot another. And with 2:50 in the first, it's Knights 2, Raiders nothing. Now the Raiders came just that close to scoring on the power play there. And the puck went the other direction on a mini break. And on the backhand, the Knights were able to score. Suing faceoffs. Sees Finkelstein take the puck at the offensive blue line. Vigliotti comes in with it. But the Raiders weren't clear of the zone, and we'll get an offside call at 2:42 left to go in the first. Still 8 seconds left to go on the power play for the Raiders. It's Finkelstein at the far dot. Wins it over to Vigliotti. Vigliotti does come into the zone now. He tries to get the puck on the forehand. Looking to pull the trigger. He sends it in. It's gloved down there. Fumbled at first, but frozen down by the Knights goaltender. And with just 1 second left to go on the power play, we'll be back to 5-on-5 skating here very soon. It's Finkelstein over the dot. He's got Vigliotti and Columba out there with him. Puck's one forward, just frozen down there by the Knights goaltender. And we'll get another stoppage in play at 2:31 left to go in the first, and we are back to 5-on-5 skating now. Referee waits for the players to get lined up. Drops the puck. Finkelstein kicks that over to Vigliotti. He's got taken out of the play right at the near circle. Now Kalimba fires in at the end boards. Kalimba on the puck behind the cage. Tries to work that puck up. Instead, the Knights come away with it. They'll look to come the other way. Heavy hit there by Vigliotti. Rubs his man off the puck. Gosler turns to pick up the puck at the end line. He's got a man all over him. Kashklevsky now in for support. Gosler comes away with it behind his own cage, at least momentarily. Works it over to Finkelstein. Finkelstein on the puck. Finds Vigliotti at the near half wall. Vigliotti tries to break out of the zone. Diagonal pass. Goes all the way to Kalimba, who gets turned around, and the Raiders will have to pick it up again in the neutral zone. Instead, the Knights come away with it so far as Tanoff, and then Tanoff fires it right back out of the zone. Knights try and come right back in. Just under 2 minutes left to go here in the first period. Puck comes to Finkelstein at the blue line. He's harassed by two Knights men. The Knights come away with it. They're into the mid-slot now at the near circle. They try a screen shot in on Speaker. It doesn't connect, and Tanoff comes away with the puck. Works it over to Vigliotti, who tries to relieve the pressure in the middle of the zone. He does, and now Kalimba has the puck. He gains the offensive zone. He's got Vigliotti with him. Vigliotti still with the puck. Oh, Kalimba takes a heavy hit there. He's grabbing his head as he's down. Vigliotti takes a hit too. We'll get a whistle here for an injured Jackson Kalimba. 1:25 left to play. Now Coach Marchuka is going to come over to check on Jackson in the far corner. Now Jackson's still down on the ice. You'd like to see some movement over there. See him pop up. His players from both sides are at their benches, getting some additional instruction from their coaches. You see a little bit of movement in the far corner for Kalimba as Coach Marchuka checks on him. Looks like in the interim, the scorekeepers put up a 1:30 penalty on the Knights. So when this does resume, it looks like the Raiders will be going to the power play, presumably for the hit on Columba. Well, still no movement from the far corner as the coaches continue to instruct their players at the benches. Now it looks like Jackson's getting to his knees. A little assistance there from Coach Marchuka. Jackson up on his skates now. Gingerly trying to get up under his own power. He does. He's going to get some help from both Coach Marchuka and the official as he goes over to go straight to the locker room. Well, and Columba comes off the ice to applause by the fans in the stands. He'll get escorted to the locker room, checked out to make sure he's okay. And of course, nothing matters here other than Jackson's health, and surely everyone watching this game is hoping for the same thing, that he's just fine, hopefully only shaken up a little bit. They can get back out there soon. Well, the hockey's going to go on here as it's an offensive zone faceoff for the Raiders with 1:25 left to go here in the first period. Bit of a discussion with the Knights coaches as to who is in the box. Looks like it might have been a back home what you'd call a 2 and 10, which is a player sits for 2 minutes as a proxy for the player who got a 10-minute penalty. Now the Knights coaches, though, disputing whether this should be presumably a 1.5 and 8 or whatever it may be, where the offending player sits for the longer period of time, but the man advantage only lasts for the 1.5 minutes. Still some discussion here at the box as the Knights coaches want a longer explanation. Now it looks like the Knights coaches who are operating the box just want to be clear on when the longer penalized player is going to be able to come out. Well, it's led to a bit of a slowdown in play, obviously, here as this penalty gets worked out. Both goalies doing some stretches, trying to stay warm in a very cold but very nice Hollydell Ice Arena here in Washington Township, New Jersey. Looks like the explanation at least is over, even if not satisfactory to the Knights coaches. So we get a whistle, we get an offensive zone draw to the Knights goalie's right. It's going to be Petrosinelli, Berliner, Meyerowicz out there, Marchuka, and Tanoff behind them. Berliner looks to win this on his backhand over to Meyerowicz in the slot. It's one forward instead. Knights try and send that out of the zone. Only so far as Petrosinelli, and now Tanoff jams that puck right back into the offensive zone. Petrosinelli fires in on the forecheck. Petrosinelli tries to take the puck off his man. His man turns. Berliner gums up any pass. Comes to Petrosinelli near the goal mouth. Petrosinelli on the backhand looks for Meyerowicz. Tries again, and then has to work that puck in deeper. The Knights pound that puck up and past the blue line once they get control of it, and Marchuka will turn and pick it up on the forehand. It is a 5-on-3, so it looks like no one's serving any major. It's just a 5-on-3 right now. Marchuka takes over the puck. He leaves it at the point. Raiders have 5 men out there. The Knights have 3. Marchuka now works that puck up to Petrosinelli at the blue line. Petrosinelli sends a long shot in. Rebound comes to Meyerowicz. Shot goes just wide after it's blocked aside by the goaltender. Berliner picks up the puck now. 44 seconds left to go in this 5-on-3. About the same in the period. Marchuka dances around one man. He finds Tanoff at the far point. Shot goes high, hits the glass, and comes down. Berliner goes to pick up the puck. Marchuka beats it to it. Now Berliner at the near dot returns the favor to Marchuka. Marchuka goes rink wide over to Tanoff. Now the puck comes in. Hits a man in front, doesn't reach the cage. There's going to be 25 seconds now left on the power play for the Raiders. We'll get an icing with 21 seconds left to go on the power play, but just 16.4 seconds left to go in the period. It'll be an offensive zone draw as the Raiders are able to make some changes to their skaters. 5-on-3 will continue here as soon as we get puck drop. Looks like it'll be Pizarro at the far dot. It's Pizarro, Meyerowicz, and Petrosinelli on this 5-on-3. Pizarro wins that over to the far half wall. Knights try and flick that up and out of the zone. Tanoff just gently guides that over to Petrosinelli, who creeps in the slot. This is just wide. Meyerowicz picks up the puck. 6 seconds left to go here in the period. Marchuka's going to have to put this on net. Instead, it goes wide after hitting a skate, and that's going to do it for the first period. It's Knights 2, Raiders nothing after 1. 5 seconds left to go in the 5-on-3 when period 2 starts. Coming up next on Midnight Sports. Well, period 2 coming up momentarily, but we do have time to visit with our first sponsor today before that puck drop. This morning's game on Midnight Sports is brought to you by streaming services. Hockey fans, when you finally get a few free minutes in the evening, what better way to unwind than to fire up the television and queue up your favorite streaming service? You have your choice of over 10,000 different shows and movies, and guess what? All of them are mediocre. You won't like any of them long enough to actually finish what you pick. And that's if you even pick a show in the first place. Sometimes just making the choice is too much trouble. Streaming services. No thanks. I'll just watch the same episode of Seinfeld for the 1,000th time. Now, period 2 coming up right now. 16 minutes on the board. As you know, period of a long change. 5-on-3 still has 5 seconds left on it as 2 Knights are in the box. Should be just enough time if the Raiders are able to win the opening faceoff to set up in the offensive zone, maybe rip a shot before those 2 Knights come out of the box. Knights now away from their bench. They're getting some last-minute instruction from their coach. Berliner over at center ice. He's got Samosi and Pizarro out there with him. Koslevsky and Gosler as the defensive pair. Berliner tries to win that over to Pizarro. He does. That's going to do it on the 5-on-3, though, as Gosler dumps that puck into the offensive zone. Pizarro gives chase on the forecheck. Pizarro's going to get to this puck at the same time as Berliner. Berliner leaves it for Pizarro. Pizarro reverses that over to Berliner. Back to 5-on-5 skating in the offensive end here for the Raiders. Berliner trying to work that puck over to a teammate. Samosi there for support. It's caught in some skates. Referee's telling the players to move it. Pizarro does come away with it at the far dot. Works that up to Koslevsky, who dumps that in deeper to Pizarro. Kicks it right back to Koslevsky, who backhands that farther, but the Knights do come away with it. Now a rush the other way for the Knights. Mini break there, cut out by Gosler. Quick stick at the blue line. Sees the Knights go offside after Gosler is able to shepherd that puck out of the offensive zone. 15:25 left to go here in the second period. And it's going to be a draw just outside the Raiders' defensive zone. New skaters out there for the Raiders. It's Marchuka, Vigliotti, Finkelstein, Tanoff, and Steinfink. Knights dump that puck in once they gain center ice. Puck goes all the way around behind the cage. Tanoff turns. Knights get there first and try and work the puck up to the point. They do. Far point, slapped forward, bouncing puck there, sits in the slot. And then Steinfink shepherds that over to the far half wall. Finds Vigliotti, who on the backhand finds Marchuka. Marchuka through the neutral zone. He's in all alone right now. It's a 1-on-2. Marchuka pulls up, turns, waits for support. Finds Steinfink in the high slot. Steinfink turns. Taken out of the play. We're going to get a call here. It's a delayed penalty. Speaker leaves the ice for that 6th skater. The Knights are going to touch up, though, quickly with 14:25 left to go here in the second period. The Raiders are going back on the power play after it looked like Steinfink was tripped right at the blue line.
Another power play, guys. We gotta cash it in.
Let's see, they're going to call it a cross check. Of course, as you know, doesn't really matter. A minute and 30 will go on the board here for the power play. And the Raiders will look to pot one past this Knights goaltender that stymied them so far today. It'll be Marchuka at the far dot. He's got Finkelstein and Vigliotti out there with him. Steinfink and Tanoff behind them. Marchuka looking to win this over to Finkelstein on the forehand, it looks like. Now he goes backhand, then forehand again. Puck sits at the dot after it's dropped. Knights come away with it. They go behind their own cage. Finkelstein in on the forecheck. He's got Marchuka with him. The Knights reverse, and Steinfink tries to get over to keep the zone, but that quick reverse does exit the zone. Steinfink goes point to Tanoff. Tanoff works it up to Finkelstein. Finkelstein now with the puck at the near blue line. Finkelstein dumps that in on the backhand, hits a Knights man, and the Knights send it right back out of the zone. This puck's going to go all the way in the defensive end for the Raiders. We should get an arm raised and an icing. We do at 14:24. It's going to be an offensive zone draw in the second period here for the Raiders. Still a minute and 2 seconds left to go on the power play. Well, the Raiders will look to just pump some shots in on goal here soon, create some havoc in front of the crease.
Set it up right, guys. Are you kidding me?
And it will be Marchuka and Gosser as a defensive pair. Well, face-offs one forward. Meyerowicz keeps the zone, works that over to Berliner. Berliner on the puck. Has Meyerowicz in for support with them, but the Knights take over there. Still the Knights. They come through the neutral zone. It's a 2-on-2. Marchuka back on defense. Shot goes high of the cage and hits the glass behind. Now Gosser tries to work that puck up farther. Instead, the Knights come away with it at the blue line. They're in the high slot. Deflected shot again goes high over the cage and into the netting. So it'll be a defensive zone draw here for the Knights. Looks like at the far dot. Defensive zone draw in the Raiders defensive zone. Excuse me, the Knights on the kill in the offensive zone. 35 seconds left to go here on the power play for the Raiders. Berliner tries to win that back over to Marchuka. Marchuka works that to Gosser, works it up to Meyerowicz, rolls off his stick in the neutral zone, and Gosser will have to turn in his own end. Marchuka now with the puck behind his own net. He skates it out of his own zone here. 19 seconds left to go on the power play. Marchuka with speed. Marchuka into the offensive zone, looking for Bizarro in the slot. He goes high over the cage. Now Gosser will have to keep the zone. He does. He slaps that forward. He finds Marchuka. Raiders buzzing right now in the offensive zone. A lot of speed. Marchuka in the slot. He hits the goaltender's glove, but it's covered quickly as the puck goes to the ice. And with 4 seconds left to go on the power play for the Raiders, it'll be an offensive zone draw for them. Still down 2 goals. 13:26 left to go here in the second period. Raiders will get some new skaters out there now. It'll be Petrosinelli, Samosi, and Finkelstein as the forwards. Puck's worked over to Petrosinelli, works that up to the point. Skips over the stick, though, there, and the Knights will come away within the offensive zone. They're in with speed, guided to the side by Tanoff. Knights looking for a slot pass. Instead, they reverse behind the cage. Samosi tries to go in for support. He does. He works that over to Tanoff. Tanoff on the forehand. Works that up to the far point, not out just yet. Tanoff will have to turn now as the puck comes back to the end boards. The Knights try and go past him and work it around the cage. Raiders working hard to get this puck out of the zone. Diagonal pass doesn't connect the first time. Petrosinelli looking for Samosi, and then it comes back to Petrosinelli, who dumps it in once he gains center ice. Finkelstein now on the puck in the far corner. He's taken out of the play by the Knights man. He gets right back into the action, though, as the puck comes up and over the glass in the far corner, and we'll get a stoppage in play with 12:39 left to go here. 12:39 left to go at the far dot. It'll be Finkelstein and Samosi and Petrosinelli. And Steinfink tries to keep the zone. Unable to do so as the Knights pour forward. They're in the offensive zone. They're in on Speaker. Speaker blockers that shot aside. And now Finkelstein takes over. Finkelstein on the forehand. Tries to work that up to Samosi. Unable to do so as the Knights take over back in their defensive zone. Knights try and clear, but they hit the referee there. And then the Knights have the puck at center ice. The Knights pour into the offensive zone. They're on the forehand. Puck comes over to the near half wall. Knights try and do it. Puck comes in. Now it's on a nightstick on the backhand. Speaker's able to cover up there, and he's able to freeze it down, and we'll get a stoppage in play at 11:58 left to go here in the second period. It's going to be a defensive zone draw for the Raiders. Now it'll be Vigliotti, Marchuka, Tanoff, Koslewski, and Bizarro out there as the 5 skaters for the Raiders. 5-on-5 hockey here, 11:58 left to go in the second period. Raiders win that face-off forward. Vigliotti has the puck on his stick. He skates it out of his zone. Heavy back check coming. He works it over to Bizarro in the slot. Just a bit too hot for him, and Bizarro will have to pick it up here at the near half wall. Tries to work it up to Koslewski. Puck hops over his stick, and now Tanoff over for cover. He finds Bizarro in the neutral zone. Bizarro blows a tire, but he's able to make the pass over to Marchuka. Handcuffs him a bit, and Koslewski will have to pick it up at his own blue line. Now Bizarro with the puck. Tries to work that puck farther up. Knights cut out the pass, and they come back this way into the offensive zone. Knights there. They try a bad angle shot, cut out by Tanoff, never reaches the cage. Tanoff in the near corner tries to work that puck up and out. Instead, the Knights get it to the slot, but no farther, as Vigliotti tries that diagonal pass to get out of the zone. Instead, the Knights turn it the other way, and Koslewski will have to pick up on the forehand. Koslewski tries to work that up to the near half wall. Knights come away with it momentarily. Koslewski gets another bite at the apple and works it up to the near point. Long shot comes in, hits Marchuka. He's able to deflect it wide, limps a little bit, now he skates it off. Looking for that home run pass are the Raiders. Bizarro, no look pass up to Marchuka, but unable to get that puck to him without a man all over him. Knights push that puck into their own zone, so there's no offside. Soft shot comes in from Vigliotti. It's going to be frozen down there at 10:48 left to go here in the second period, and we'll get an offensive zone draw for the Raiders coming up as they get some new skaters on the ice. It'll be Berliner, Meyerowicz, Steinfink, Gossler, and Petrosinelli. Berliner to the Knights goalie's right. Tries to win on the backhand. Petrosinelli comes away with the puck momentarily. Tries to jam that farther, and now he's got it back again at the near circle. Dances around his man and works that puck in deeper. Now Meyerowicz with the puck. Meyerowicz tries to work that puck deeper. He does momentarily. The Knights do eventually come away with it, but the long stick of Gossler keeps the zone. Now the Knights still trying hard to work that out. Instead, Meyerowicz leaves it for Berliner, just a little too far behind him. The Raiders are able to keep the zone momentarily, but the Knights have possession. They're able to work that up to the blue line, still not out, and now it finally is after a couple of whacks of the puck by the Knights. Sits in the neutral zone after some heavy hitting, but now the Knights have a 2-on-1 developing. Gossler back, looking for that pass. Gossler is able to hit that with his skate harmlessly to the end wall. Speaker gets over. He's able to cover the near post just enough to guide that shot to the end wall. Might have hit the side of the cage. Either way, Raiders get lucky there and take over the puck in their own end. Gossler now on the forehand. Tries a diagonal pass over to Petrosinelli. Finds him in the defensive slot. Now Petrosinelli skates the puck out and gets it deep. Puck comes all the way to the end wall with 9:44 left to go here in the second period. Knights reverse in their own end, looking to break out of their zone. They do, but only so far as Meyerowicz. And Meyerowicz has the puck there. He finds a player in the slot on the Raiders. Puck hops over a stick of Berliner there. Petrosinelli on the backhand tries to work it farther. The Knights come away with it. Now the Knights through the neutral zone. They dump that puck into Gossler's skates, and Gossler gums up that play. Gossler fires right back the other way. Gossler on the wrist shot. Ooh, there was a little bit of space there in the low right corner, but the Knights goaltender shut that off immediately when the shot came in. So at 9:18 left to go, we'll have another offensive zone draw for the Raiders, giving some nice pushback now in this second period. It's Marchuka at the near dot. He's got Tanoff and Koslewski behind him. Samosi and Bizarro as his wingers. Marchuka tries to win that over to Samosi. Puck just sits at the near dot, and now Marchuka comes away with it and works it farther to Bizarro. Bizarro tries to turn with it, taken out the puck, though, by the Knights man, who uses the glass to bank that up to the far point. Koslewski's able to keep the zone. Bizarro now curls with it in the mid-slot, tries to work a shot in. His stick gets sticked aside as the shot comes in softly, so at 9:01, we'll get another stoppage in play. The Knights goaltender freezes that puck down. It's Marchuka at the near dot now. Puck's won to the near corner, and the Knights are going to work this puck out with a long pass. They had a 2-on-0 breakaway if that pass had connected. Instead, because it doesn't, it turns into an icing, and we'll get a draw coming right back the other way. Raiders with an offensive zone draw coming up. It's Bizarro and Samosi, Marchuka, Tanoff, and Koslewski as the 5 skaters. Marchuka wins that over the near half wall. He picks up his own pass, tries to work that up to Tanoff. Tanoff's able to keep the zone by kicking it forward. Samosi finds Marchuka, back to Samosi. Samosi shot comes in, goes glove side, and it's stopped there. A wonderful save by the Knights goaltender keeps Samosi off the score sheet, at least for now, at 8:39 left to go here in the second period. Same 5 skaters will stay out there for the Raiders. Bit of a short bench now, the Columba injury and a couple of players out today. Marchuka at the near dot. Tries to work that puck up to the point. Samosi comes away with it at the near circle. Works that down to Bizarro. Tries to return the favor. Stick gets in the way. Bizarro picks up the puck himself. Jams that up to the near point. Tanoff's got it. He's got some room. He sends a shot in. Hits a shin guard in front. And Marchuka will have to curl with the puck. Works that up to Koslevsky, who shovels that farther into the zone. And the puck sits at the the far half wall until it's jammed farther by the Knights into the neutral zone. Tanoff turns to pick up the puck. Koslevsky takes his man out of the play by slow skating in front of him. The Raiders turn the other direction. Puck hops over Samosi's stick. He picks it up again in the neutral zone and dumps that in. Now Marchuka in on the forecheck. Puck sits at the end boards for the Knights, but Pizarro does take over at the far half wall. He's looking into the slot. Nobody home at the far post. Samosi now goes to pick up the puck at the near half wall and send that farther for Marchuka. Marchuka on the backhand absorbs a heavy hit, but works it over to Pizarro. Pizarro on the forehand, looking up to the point. Tries to find someone in the slot. Hits a shin guard there. Puck goes wide. Steinfink able to keep the zone at the near point. Knights will reverse. Gosser waiting at the far point for this puck. Kicks it to himself and sends it right back down to Samosi. Samosi again looking in the slot. Nobody home there, though. The Knights will pick up, and they're going to be able to work this puck out of the zone. That pass doesn't connect on the breakaway, but it was touched by a Knights player, so there'll be no icing. Gosser takes his man out of the play. No arm raised. Raiders curl behind their own net, trying to work that puck up to Samosi, who can jam it farther. The Knights instead come away momentarily with it, but now Samosi has the puck. We're going to get a call here against the Raiders. And with 7:14 left to go in the second period, the Raiders will be going to the box. It'll be Marchuka going for a minute and a half. Looks like a rough. So down 2 goals and now man. Defensive zone draw coming up for the Raiders. Looks like it'll be to Speaker's left. And it's going to be Tanoff, Koslevsky, Finkelstein, and Vigliotti as the penalty killers. It'll be Finkelstein at the near dot. Players get set. There's still a discussion, though, over at the Raiders bench as to exactly what might be going on here. Well, Coach Coffey seems satisfied with the explanation, at least enough to play on. Face-offs won by the Knights up to the near point. They're on the forehand. They send a shot in, look for a deflection to the far post. Can't quite get it, and now it comes up to the high slot. Slapper comes in, deflected high of the cage, hits the back of the cage. And the Knights will have to collect again. They do. The Knights pick it up. And they're at the far point, and they go point to the near point. That shot comes in, goes high of the cage again, and the Knights will have to track that puck down in the neutral zone. Vigliotti on the forecheck now on the penalty kill. Vigliotti turns his man, blows a tire, and the Knights have to throw it into the neutral zone after that pressure by Lorenzo. Knights now with the puck. They gain the offensive zone. It's a 4-on-3 for all intents and purposes until both the Raiders and Knights players get back. Knights send a shot in, goes wide of the cage. It's deflected wide. 6:33 left to go as the clock continues to run here in the second period. Knights work that up to the high slot. They're on the forehand. Now they work it to the near circle. Too hot to handle there, though, for the Knights. Raiders try and chip it out. Finkelstein chips it farther. Not quite out of the zone until he's able to kick it forward. And now Lorenzo in on the forecheck. Nearly picks off the point-to-point pass. 6:15 left to go here in the second period. 30 seconds left to go on the kill. Raiders jam that farther. Hits Lorenzo's skate, and we will play on. Knights go point-to-point in their own defensive end. They're looking for that long diagonal pass. It's chopped down by Vigliotti, but the Knights retain possession. They break in the offensive zone. Still the Knights. They're in on Speaker. Try and round him. He's able to shut that first shot down, but not the rebound. The rebound in the blue paint there. And the Knights score with 12 seconds left to go on the power play. It's a Knights goal. Knights 3, Raiders nothing. Well, we'll be back to 5-on-5 hockey here. Ensuing face-off coming up. Knights have a 3-goal lead now. 5:56 left to go here in the second period. It'll be Berliner at the center ice dot. He's got Petrosinelli and Meyerowicz out there with him. Berliner wins that forward and gives chase. Knights go point-to-point in their own end and now work it up through the neutral zone. Puck comes to Gosser, chips that puck up off the glass. And the Knights will take over the neutral zone and try and dump in. Instead, puck comes to Meyerowitz at the far boards in front of the Knights bench. Chops that forward into the offensive zone. The Knights take over possession there, and they work it through the neutral zone. Steinfink turns at his own blue line to get that puck out of the zone. We should get an offside call with 5:32 left to go here in the second period. Well, a report from the sidelines. It's nice to see Jackson Kalemba up and walking around. He's in street clothes, but he looks to be moving well. So that's great news as far as the Raiders are concerned. And truly, all fans. In the event, the Knights win the ensuing face-off there. They work it through the neutral zone only so far as Gosser at his own blue line. Gosser on the forehand, finds Meyerowitz, who dumps that in the offensive zone and then gives chase. Berliner also in on the forecheck. Petrosinelli trailing from behind for support. Puck comes up to the far point. Steinfink jams it farther there. The Knights now try and work that puck out of their zone. They do, but only again so far as Meyerowitz, who jams that puck right back in. Now the Knights have possession in their own end. They work it up to Gosser at the blue line, and the Raiders will have to clear the zone as the puck sits right in front of the boards here, and then back into the zone. Berliner now comes into the zone on the forecheck. Knights take over on the forehand. They work it up to the near half wall. Heavy hit there by Petrosinelli. Takes his man off the puck, but the Knights are able to jam that farther. It's a break now the other way. Steinfink goes to try and collect his man. Pass comes through the slot all the way through, and Gosser will pick up the puck with some speed. Gosser now, 1-on-2 developing for him. He crosses the offensive blue line. He's on the forehand. He sends a shot in. That's just gloved down there by the Knights goaltender. It was a laser of a shot, but it found the glove of the Knights goaltender. And at 4:24 left to go in the second period, it's still Knights 3, Raiders nothing. It's going to be Tanoff, Marchuka, Bizarro, Samosi, and Kushlevsky out as the 5 Raiders skaters. Marchuka tries to win that faceoff. He does. Wins it to himself. Sends a pass over to Bizarro in the slot. Bizarro right back to Marchuka. Bizarro now picks up the puck on the backhand, looking into the slot. Finds a Knights stick instead of a Raiders stick, and the Knights are able to clear the zone. Kushlevsky now turns with the puck in the neutral zone and reverses. Knights looking to come the other way. They've gained the offensive zone. Have the Knights. Puck comes to the Knights player, but Tanoff and Bizarro with a wonderful back check, able to cut out any threat there. Quick stick of Dom Bizarro there, prevented any shot in on the Raiders goaltender. 3:48 left to go here as the Knights reverse in their own end. Trying to get this puck out of their zone are the Knights. Kushlevsky's able to keep the zone momentarily, but now the Knights break out. Knights in the neutral zone try and push that puck farther. Gummed up there by Samosi. Knights come away with it. They're in. They send a shot high over the cage, and they'll have to pick up the rebound. The Knights have it now at the far point. Try and work that puck farther to the far half wall. Raiders trying to get this puck out of the zone now. Tanoff works it over to Samosi. Samosi able to body his man off the puck and find Bizarro in the neutral zone. Puck rolls off his stick there, though, and the Knights turn it the other way. Oh, a heavy hit there as Tanoff goes into the boards hard. Doesn't like the hit. No call being made, though, as the Raiders gain the offensive zone. Marchuka has a man draped all over him, and now Bizarro takes a heavy hit to work the puck up to the slot. Knights are able to poke that puck out with 2:55 left to go here in the second period. Knights work it farther in the neutral zone. Quick stick of Nate Kushlevsky keeps that puck from going any farther. He tries to chip it deeper into the neutral zone. Instead, the Knights come away with it, and now Speaker settles the puck over for Tanoff. Tanoff picks up the puck behind the net. Tanoff on the forehand finds Marchuka. Marchuka with speed through the neutral zone. He's got Samosi and Bizarro with him. Knights take it off him, and then they chop it farther into the offensive end. Knights pick up the puck there. They're at the near point. They stop, wait for support, and work it across the blue line. Still the Knights in the offensive end. Puck comes to Kushlevsky. Kushlevsky on the forehands, able to wrist that puck up and out of the zone. Probably get an icing call here. We do with the arm raised. 2:15 left to go in the second period. It's going to be a defensive zone draw for the Raiders, and it gives us time to pause for station identification. You're watching this game on Midnight Sports, now with gifts. Midnight Sports. Well, defensive zone draw for the Raiders. It'll be Berliner at the near dot. He's got Gosler out there with him. Looks like Steinfink, Finkelstein, and Vigliotti. Knights win that faceoff up to the near point. They try and dump it in deeper. Berliner all over his man, and now Vigliotti goes rink wide to pick up the puck at the blue line. He's able to work it up to the blue line, not out yet. He's going to get a second bite at it. On the backhand, he does clear the zone. Knights will have to reset. They work it up to the offensive blue line again, but no farther, as Berliner takes a heavy hit to poke that into the offensive end, but without possession. Knights now in their own end. They go point to point. Look weak side instead. Skate up the left wing and dump it in. Puck comes over to Finkelstein. He's got a Knights man draped all over him at the near half wall, and Berliner comes away with the puck. Raiders are going to be able to break out. Vigliotti up the left wing. He finds the puck on his stick, gains the zone, works it to the forehand. Finkelstein takes over on the backhand, now works that down in deep. Berliner on the backhand, tries to go high over the goaltender. A nice save there. And they're going to draw a penalty, are the Raiders here. It's a delayed penalty as Speaker skates off the ice. They're looking to get that sixth skater out there. Still no blown whistle, no touch up yet by the Knights. Puck comes out to the slot, and it sits now at the end wall, and the Knights will be able to touch up with 1:14 left to go here in the second period. The Raiders will be going to the power play on some good work there from Vigliotti and Berliner. Able to draw the penalty in the offensive end. And as a result, it'll be Marchuka, Meyerowicz, Steinfink, Gossler, and Petrosinelli as the power play skaters for the Raiders. Just 74 seconds left to go here in the second period. Marchuka at the far dot. Sets up to win this back to Petrosinelli. He does. Petrosinelli hits a shin guard on that shot. Puck comes to Gossler. Scores on the power play with 41.1 seconds left to go here in the second. The Meyerowicz and Marchuka show down in the near corner, pitch and catch, and finally they create enough ice for themselves as Luke Marchuka goes all the way over to the weak side of the cage and sends it over the shoulder of the Knights goaltender. It's Raiders 1, Knights 3. Ensuing faceoff, Marchuka gets tied up at the center ice dot, wins it forward but goes no farther. Some heavy hitting now from the Knights after that goal. Puck comes into the low slot. Knights are able to clear the zone and break the other way. It's a 3-on-2 developing there for the Knights as they wait at the blue line. Tanoff now tries to shepherd that puck to the side. He does enough to send the shot over the cage. Puck comes up to the near point now. The ensuing shot goes wide. Marchuka picks up at the far half wall. Marchuka tries to get that puck out of the zone. He does. Takes a heavy hit to do so, but the Knights turn around and they look to gain the offensive zone again. Puck now comes to Tanoff, who flicks the puck past the blue line. Just 6 seconds left to go. Long shot comes in. Bouncing puck on Speaker. No one around him, so he just dumps the puck so the clock can tick off. And that's the end of 2. Raiders with some pushback here. It's Knights 3, Raiders 1. Stick around. Period 3 puck drop coming up next. Well, we're back for period 3 puck drop here. 16 minutes on the board, but we do have time to visit with our second sponsor of the day. This morning's game on Midnight Sports is made possible by Guys Who Say Bro. Hockey fans, you may have thought now that you're an adult, you wouldn't have to contend with the folks who unironically use the words bro, cool, or dude. But Brosef, I've got bad news for you. These El Duderinos are everywhere. You can't go into a grocery store or hockey rink without hearing someone drop a, "What's up, brother?" And I'm sorry, mi hermano, these dudes aren't going away. It's Guys Who Say Bro. They're here to stay, my man. Well, 16 minutes on the board here for period 3. And it's still Raiders 1, Knights 3. Raiders are going to look to make a big push here as the period opens. Cut this Knights lead in half. It's going to be Berliner, Samosi, Bizarro out as the forward line. Gossler and Steinfink as the defensive pair. Berliner at the center ice dot. Knights looking to get all 5 players out on the ice. Goalies checked, scorekeeper checked, and the Raiders come away with that. Samosi dumps that into the neutral zone and into the offensive zone. Now the puck comes right back into the neutral zone. Samosi now on the puck at center ice. near boards. Knights come away with it. They're able to send that rink wide, and Gosler gives chase, try and poke that puck up into the neutral zone. Instead, the Knights get there first. Steinfink turns, pick up the puck on his forehand. He's got Samosi over at the near half wall. He works it over to him. Samosi curls, goes weak side. Puck just a little too hot for Berliner, and the Knights are able to keep the zone. They send that shot wide of the cage. Bad angle shot hits Steinfink in the side, and Samosi picks up the puck. He skates with speed through the neutral zone. Samosi still with the puck, tries to leave it for Bizarro. Bizarro picks up the puck and takes a heavy hit into the boards there, and now the Knights come the other way. It's a 2-on-2. They're in the high slot are the Knights. On the forehand, shot comes in on Speaker. He's able to grab that pop-up. Would have been an infield fly rule there had we been playing baseball, but he gloves it and freezes it with 15-14 left to go here in the third period. It's going to be a defensive zone draw for the Raiders. It's Koslevsky, Finkelstein, Bigliotti, Marchuka. Well, no, not quite. Suing face-off, Vigliotti's able to fire that out of the zone off a Knights player. It's Vigliotti, Marchuka, Finkelstein, Gosler, and Steinfink out there as the 5 skaters. Puck now comes through the neutral zone, and Gosler goes to cover. Gosler picks up the puck and tries to jam that out of the zone. He finds Vigliotti at the blue line, tries to free up some ice by going backhand. Knights hit Marchuka, puck rolls farther, and now it's just in the neutral zone. Cut out again by the skate of Gosler, and Vigliotti tries to find Marchuka at the blue line. He does. Vigliotti looks to pick up the puck. Marchuka taken out of the play, delayed penalty coming. It's touched up now by the Knights, as Marchuka draws a penalty at the offensive blue line. And the Raiders will look to duplicate their success on the most recent power play as they get 5 skaters on the ice, and the Knights will only have 4 after that trip of Marchuka at the blue line. So a minute and a half put on the board, 14:39 left to go here in the third period. It'll be Berliner at the far dot. He's got Gosler and Marchuka behind him, Meyerowicz and Petrosinelli as the forwards around him. Raiders get lined up. Berliner tries to win that on the backhand. The Knights know that trick, but only so far as Gosler. Gosler tries to dump in. The Knights come the other way through the neutral zone. Long stick of Silas Gosler keeps that puck from getting any farther. Puck comes into the Knights zone again. They look to feather it up and beyond so that they can kill more of this penalty. On the backhand, they find Petrosinelli at center ice. Petrosinelli skates through a pile of snow by the Raiders bench and works it over to Marchuka. Marchuka now on the forehand, looking to break into the offensive zone. He goes weak side over to Gosler. Gosler on the forehand. Look out. Shot comes in, hits a stick in front and goes wide of the cage. Berliner looks to pick up at the end wall. Berliner on the puck. He rubbed off with a heavy hit there, and now Petrosinelli harasses his man into a bad pass. Raiders will clear the zone. They're right back in, are the Raiders. Petrosinelli tries to go around his man. 3 men take him out of the play. Sticks go flying, but the end result is a covered puck at the goal mouth. And with 13:54 left to go here in the third period, it'll be an offensive zone draw for the Raiders. 45 seconds left to go in the power play for the Raiders. Looks like Berliner's going to stay out there. It's Finkelstein, Bizarro, Gosler, and Marchuka as the 5 skaters. Berliner now at the near dot, wins that to himself, pushes that puck forward to the end boards, and then gives chase. Puck comes over to Finkelstein in the near corner. Gives a thought about a weak side shot. Instead, takes it around the net, and now Berliner picks up the puck in the near corner. Berliner finds Gosler at the near half wall. Gosler sees Marchuka up at the blue line. Marchuka sends a shot in. It's blocked, and now the Knights come the other way. Knights through the neutral zone. It's a 2-on-2. Knights at the far point. They work it into the mid slot. Shot comes in. Speaker's able to stick that aside, and now Marchuka picks up the puck in the far corner. Marchuka on the puck. He's on the forehand. He's skating with speed. Sees Bizarro up the blue line. Takes it through the neutral zone himself. Bizarro waits. Now pours into the zone. Marchuka on the forehand. Sends that shot wide of the cage. Berliner will need to pick up at the far half wall. Jammed farther by Gosler. Gosler looking for Marchuka. Marchuka turns into the far corner, and the Knights come away with the puck at least momentarily. Gummed up by Finkelstein, who tries to work it back over to Marchuka. Finkelstein with the puck in his skates, finds Bizarro. Bizarro, a slapper on net, saved nicely there by the Palmyra Black Knights goaltender, and we're back to 5-on-5 skating with 12:57 left to go here in the third period. Now it'll be an offensive zone draw for the Raiders. It'll be Vigliotti, Tanoff, Koslevsky, Petrosinelli. Well, it looks like the Raiders only have 4 players out there right now. And Samosi quickly hops on the ice as play continues. Knights take over. Try and flick that up and out of the zone. They do. It's chopped down by Vigliotti. Vigliotti tries to work that over. Oh, total breakaway now. In on Speaker. He's able to shut that shot down. Takes that right into the chest and freezes that puck with 12:30 left to go here in the third period. It's going to be a defensive zone draw for the Raiders. Now it'll come to Speaker's left. And he's got Petrosinelli out there to take this draw. Petrosinelli wins that over the slot. Shot comes in, goes wide of the cage. Speaker tries to round over to the post. It's cut out nicely there by Finkelstein. No threat coming. Now Koslewski uses his strength to work that puck up to the far point. Puck sits there momentarily, and then the Knights work it in deeper. They're going to go cross ice here, try and go point to point. It comes into the slot. No look, backhand shot goes wide of the cage. Now it's in the mid slot. Vigliotti takes over. Vigliotti skates that out of the zone. He looks for Finkelstein. He finds him in the neutral zone. Finkelstein in the offensive end. Tries to return the favor over to Vigliotti. Instead, a stick gets in the way, and the puck comes up to Gossler in the neutral zone. Gossler waits for his teammates to clear. Now it works over to Vigliotti at the near blue line, who finds Petrosinelli in the slot. Going to get a call, though, here on the hit by Vigliotti, and the Raiders are going to need to touch up on this delayed penalty. They do through Finkelstein at the blue line, and at 11:41 left to go in this game, the Raiders will be going to the box. Looks like it's going to be a roughing call for a minute and a half to Vigliotti, and it'll be a defensive zone draw for the Raiders with Gossler and Steinfink, Pizarro and Samosi out there as the penalty killers. A minute and 30 put on the board for that penalty. 11:41 left to go here in the third period. It's Pizarro at the dot. He wins that up to Samosi. Samosi's going to be able to skate this out of the defensive zone. Samosi on the forehand gains center ice, and then he gets the puck in deep to kill some of this penalty. He harasses his man on the forecheck, nearly gets his stick in the way of that pass. But the Knights are going to be able to break out of their zone. They're through the neutral zone. It's a 3-on-2 the other way. They're in the slot with speed. A nice stick there by Gossler. Guides the puck wide. Now the Knights look for a pass into the slot. Instead, Gossler goes down to one knee, and the Knights have to settle for going around the end boards up to the near point. But Pizarro's there. Take that puck out of the zone. Knights break out of the zone. Break back into the offensive zone, but they're offside with 11:11 to go here in the third period, and just a minute even on the kill for the Raiders. This faceoff's going to come just outside the Raiders' defensive zone. It's going to be Pizarro at the far dot. Pizarro tries to win that over to Samosi. Step forward on by Gossler, who works the puck farther, but now the Knights come into the offensive zone on the back end. They try and dangle around Steinfink. Steinfink, wise to that play, is able to get a stick in the way and guide it to the near corner. Uses the glass to get that puck farther into the defensive zone, but not quite out. Knights now working hard in the near corner to work that up to the near point. They do. Blind shot comes in. Gossler's stick gets in the way, and then it's sticked aside there by Speaker. It goes off his skate. Bounces in after a bad angle shot. Pinballs around the skates. And into the net, and that's a Black Knights goal. Well, Speaker was able to stick aside the loose puck in the blue paint, but a pass into the slot there by the Knights hit a couple of skates, including his, and the puck ended up in the back of the net. Berliner on the ensuing faceoff, skates forward, crosses the blue line. He's on the forehand, sends a shot in right into the glove of the Black Knights goaltender, and we'll get a stoppage in play here with 10:38 left to go in the third period. Ensuing face-off, it's Berliner in the offensive zone, wins it over to Petrosinelli. Puck comes in, it's deflected high over the cage, and the Knights look to break out here. Knights slowed down there by a Raiders stick, and the Raiders are able to dump that right back in. Knights take over in their own end. They're on the forehand. They're at the near half wall. Look to break out. Not quite yet. Heavy back check there by Meyerowicz. Takes the puck off his man, and now he looks into the slot for a pass. He hops over one stick. He finds Petrosinelli. That returns the favor, but the Knights come away with it in their own end. They skate it out of their own zone. It's a 2-on-2 developing. They're wide, and then they dump that puck in to the Knights. Comes right back up to the blue line. They slap it weak side, and the Knights will keep the zone. Knights now in the far corner. Meyerowicz tries to take the puck off his man. The puck rests on the dasher, and then it's flicked out by Meyerowicz, and the Knights will have to clear the zone. Knights with the puck. Berliner takes it off the Knights man, and now Berliner comes in the offensive end. He goes around another man, and finally the puck rolls off his stick before he's able to pull the trigger. 9:39 left to go here in the third period. Raiders need a quick goal. Knights take over the puck in their own end. They slap it out. Tanoff reverses that direction, and now Koslewski will back to cover the puck as Tanoff steps in front of his man. Koslewski on the forehand, works that puck up to Vigliotti, who tries to work it farther. He does. Stick lift by Finkelstein, sees the puck leave the zone. Knights go point to point in the neutral zone, and then they dump it right back in. Puck comes off the end boards, sits behind the cage, and Tanoff goes in, try and collect the puck. Knights beat everyone to it. Puck comes up to the near half wall. Now the puck's fired across the slot. Vigliotti got back, try and shepherd that weak side. Knights have it in the slot there. They send it on Speaker. That puck's loose, and then it's poked in. Well, Speaker was able to glove it down, but not freeze it. And that puck sat in the blue paint with 8:57 left to go in the third period. It's Knights 5, Raiders 1. Now we get a timeout called here by Coach Coffey, and that'll give us time to visit with our third sponsor this morning. Today's game on Midnight Sports is sponsored by having to put things away. Hockey fans, congratulations on being enough of an adult to order Fresh Direct before running out of cereal, and having gotten the family's laundry done before everyone ran out of clean clothes. But I've got bad news for you. Your reward for being responsible is now having to put the things you got away. Sure, you made it to your third floor walk-up with all those bags, but unless that milk reaches the fridge, it's like you only bought it in the ether. Having to put things away, just one more fun part of being an adult. Well, timeout continues here at the Hollydell Ice Arena as Coach Coffey talks to the players. Precarious 4-goal lead. Not precarious necessarily for the Knights, but precarious in the sense that if they can make it a 5-goal differential, that clock will start to run as we're in the third period here at the AHF Hollydell Ice Arena Showcase. Well, it'll be Berliner, Samosi, Gosler, Steinfink, and Bizarro out there as the 5 skaters for the Raiders. Well, despite the scoreline, this game has been close. Tight-hitting game. The Raiders just need to pot a puck or two here with some good puck luck and could change the entire complexion of this thing in the third period. Knights now have the puck in their own end. They curl around their own net, but they find Bizarro there. Bizarro on the backhand. He goes high on the goaltender. Rebound comes, hops over Berliner's stick. Gosler now, look out. Oh, it's gloved down there by the Knights goaltender. A hard shot of Gosler. You can't ask for much more from the Raiders there as they were buzzing around the Knights net, giving everything they had. You love to see on the fourth game of a weekend all the Raiders skaters out there giving everything they have, despite the fact that they must be tired. Berliner now wins that over to Bizarro. Bizarro kicks that forward. Puck comes up, though, to the near point and out. The Knights with speed. Tanoff turns. Knights now into the offensive zone. Looking in the slot. Speaker's able to glove that off the post, but the Knights keep possession. Now it comes in front of the blue paint. The Speaker just covers there with 8:19 left to go in the third period. Well, he's got some posts to thank today, and he does over there. Giving the post rub, as Marchuka will be over the far dot. Well, here come the Raiders. They're able to push that puck out of the zone, and then the Knights take over at their own blue line. Knights work that up through the neutral zone. Some tic-tac-toe passing sees them gain the offensive zone. And now they're on the forehand. They try and go over Speaker's shoulder. He stands tall. That puck hits the top of the crossbar, but the Knights keep possession. They come up to the near point, do the Knights. Knights dump that right back in. Knights have it at the half wall, looking for the slot pass. Shot comes in, hits two men in front, and now it's stuck on the back of the netting. They try and round Speaker, and that puck comes through the blue paint, but no harm, no foul. 7:47 left to go here in the third period as the Raiders are able to escape the zone. Push farther there between Meyerowicz and Marchuka. Combination that's worked well today. Marchuka taken out of the play, leaned on, and that'll be interference there as the Knights will be going to the box. Well, 7:36 left to go here in the third period. Raiders will be up a man on the ice after that interference penalty against Marchuka. Marchuka bought that penalty by driving hard all the way around the far corner. He kept his skates going, and the Knights man had no choice but to lean on him. Again, that's the hop we were talking about before that you love to see out of the Raiders skaters. Marchuka now tries to win this over to Petrosnelli. The Knights come away with it, but only so far as Gossler. Gossler dumps that back in. Puck goes all the way around the end boards. The Knights will pick up on the backhand there. Leaned into by Marchuka. Tries to take the puck off his man. Instead, the Knights reverse. And they're at the far half wall, and now they're going to be able to skate this out of the zone. They dump it farther. Gossler turns and gives chase. The Knights are there, and they send a shot in. Oh, and they're able to score on that shot. Wow, that was a quick shot. Quick wrist shot there. Speaker unable to get down in time. And there's your 5-goal lead in the third period. 7:15 left to go in this one. Still 1 minute and 9 seconds on the power play for the Raiders. That'll be Berliner at center ice. He's got Vigliotti and Finkelstein out there with him. Berliner tries to win that over toward Finkelstein. Knights come away with it and they dump it in. Still 1 minute and 3 seconds now left to go on the power play for the Raiders. It's Tanoff. He works it up to Vigliotti. Vigliotti has the puck at the near half wall. He works that weak side. Berliner pushes that forward through the neutral zone. Knights come away with it at their own blue line and try and dump that in. Koslewski turns in his own zone. He picks up the puck at the near dot and he rounds his cage. Koslewski now on the forehand. He looks up, surveys his options, works that up to Finkelstein, who touches the puck there at the red line. The Knights take over again. Now Tanoff with the puck. Tanoff tries to skate around his man. Koslewski there for support. The Knights jam that farther into the offensive end. Koslewski all over his man. His man turns, tries to go high on Speaker. Speaker makes a save there. That's played with a high stick. So no goal. High stick there, no goal after it was batted in by the Knights player. Well, Speaker made the initial save. Puck hopped up high in the air, and it was batted down by the Knights player with a high stick. So the clock runs here, but it'll be an offensive zone draw for the Raiders. Still a 6-1 game. Well, now Berliner at the far dot. Looks to win this over to Vigliotti on the backhand. Knights push that puck forward. They're in the slot, are the Knights, the defensive slot, and they skate out of the zone. Still with speed come the Knights into the offensive zone. They try and get it on Speaker. Backhand saved there. Puck rolls to the side of the crease, and the Raiders are able to clear the danger, at least momentarily. Puck now hops up and out of play into the Raiders bench with 5.5 minutes to go here in the third period. Well, it'll be a defensive zone draw for the Raiders as that puck went out of play in their zone. Marchuka at the far dot. Wins that forward. Knights come away with it momentarily until Samosi gets in the way and then flicks that puck into the offensive end. He gives chase on the forecheck. Man slow skates in front of him, but he pushes him down as he goes and hunts down the puck. Puck comes up to Koslewski, hops over his skate, and Tanoff turns in the neutral zone to try and keep the play in front of him. Knights still break back into the zone. Tanoff now turns to pick up the puck in the near corner. 4:49 left to go in this game. Koslewski with the puck on his forehand is able to move that up to the far point. Puck comes to a Knights stick. Shot comes in. It's deflected wide, never reaches the cage. Koslewski upended near his cage. Now on the backhand are the Knights. Speaker can't get over in time. 5-hole was opened as he was sliding across the crease, and that's another Knights goal. It's Knights 7, Raiders 1. Well, 4:14 left to go here in the third period. Berliner over at center ice. Tries to work that over to Petrosinelli. Comes to Steinfink. Steinfink pushes that puck farther into the offensive zone. Icing gets waved here as the Knights pick up in their own end. Knights now with the puck, but Berliner in the way. Berliner at the end boards, reverses. Puck to himself. He's got two Knights men all over him. Berliner still looking in the front of the cage. Shot comes in from Meyerowicz, goes just over the cage of the Knights goaltender. Knights now looking for a home run pass. Knights find the blue line, the offensive blue line. They've gained the offensive zone. Long stick of Gossler, sees the puck turn the other way, but now the Knights take over again the offensive zone. They send a shot in on Speaker, goes wide of the cage, and they'll have to pick up at the near point, will the Knights. Knights work it up to the near point, and the slapper hits a body in front. Hit there by Petrosinelli, and we'll get a penalty call. Get a penalty call here on, it looks like the Raiders, with Petrosinelli going to the box. Hit his man who had the puck at the time, but was adjudged to be high on his man. And so, for a minute and a half, he'll go to the box. Well, Petrosinelli disagrees with that call, so you know who he needs to talk to. That's right, he needs to give Noah a call. Ensuing face-off sees the Knights win that over to the far half wall. Puck sits at the far dot. They're in on Speaker. Speaker's able to shut that puck down and stop it and freeze it with 3:05 left to play here in the game. It'll be Finkelstein at the far dot as the clock continues to run. Finkelstein now wins that over to the far half wall. Puck goes to the far point, and then it's dumped in deeper by the Knights. Knights have it at the far circle. They've got some room. They work it rink wide, send a shot in on Speaker. He's able to glove that down with 2:44 left to go. He makes a save to his lower left, and the clock continues to churn. It'll be a defensive zone draw for the Raiders with 150 seconds left. Pizarro out to take this draw. Pizarro tries to slap that to the near half wall. Instead, the Knights come away with it. They go rink wide again. Puck goes to the far circle. They get on the forehand, and that's gloved down again by Speaker there. And we'll get another stoppage in play with just over 2 minutes to go. Well, the Knights making the most of their power play opportunity here by getting shots on goal, but haven't quite gotten one past and into the back of the net. Knights at the far point work that puck in deeper. Clearly working on some offensive zone passing are the Knights. They gain the low slot. They're on the backhand. Speaker rises to meet that shot with the shoulder, and he freezes it again with 1:50 left to go in this game. It's going to be another defensive zone draw here for the Raiders as this game whimpers to a close. Marchuka at the near dot, tries to win that forward. Knights come away with it. Slapper from the point, doesn't connect, and Pizarro now has the puck on his stick. Looks up, looks for Marchuka. Gossler takes over the puck in the neutral zone. Gossler now tries to work the puck farther. The Knights turn it the other way. Pizarro on the puck, finds Gossler in the neutral zone again. Gossler on the forehand, he gains the red line, and he looks to send something in on goal. He gains the blue line as well, and the Raiders are able to stay onside magically. The Knights take over the puck now with just a minute left to go in this game. Samosi in on the forecheck. Knights work that up to the near half wall, but Pizarro takes over there. Pizarro on the puck. He's on the forehand is Pizarro. Pizarro sends a shot in. It's gloved down by the Knights goaltender and frozen with 50 seconds left to go in this game. Well, the clock continues to run. Just over 40 seconds left to go. That might be the last bit of action we see. Berliner at the near dot. Looks like we're going to whistle this one and have it continue. Knights pump the puck out of their zone. They're through with speed. They've got a mini break developing here. It's a 2-on-0. They're in on Speaker. They go high over his shoulder, and that's a goal with 20 seconds left to go on that breakaway. The Knights score, and that's likely going to do it for this game. It's going to be Palmyra Black Knights 8, New York City Raiders 1. Well, thanks for joining us all weekend from the Hollydell Ice Arena right here on Midnight Sports. As we said at the top of the broadcast, happy Thanksgiving to you and yours, and we'll see you in December for some more youth hockey. Until then, stay safe.